Alright, let's take a closer look now at the rubric criteria we mentioned in the end of the last video. The first one we'll look at is causality, which focuses mostly on the way the experiment was set up. Ideally, research proves that one thing causes another, like that gravity causes objects to fall when we drop them. But proving causality is very, very hard to do, and it takes a well-organized and specific type of study. Think back to the evidence pyramid. The higher a paper falls on this pyramid as far as how they ran the study, or towards the bottom if they even did run a study, the higher the causality score will be. Randomized control trials are the highest ranking, number 6, and it's sort of the gold standard that we want to highlight when we write the critical review. Because of things like cost and ethics, a randomized control trial might not be the best option. So a quasi-experiment or even a cohort study, where they randomize groups instead of individuals, also has fairly strong causality. The studies that will not rank very well on the causality scale are those that are simply anecdotal, minimal controls, or just simply observational studies. While valuable, their design is not the kind that can strongly point towards one thing causing another. External validity answers the question, how useful or applicable is this evidence? If you were studying memory and you ran a randomized control trial on 80 mice in a lab on their ability to remember random pictures, you might have great causality, but your results wouldn't necessarily be applicable to a college student trying to improve their memory by studying flashcards. This criterion also examines the generalizability of results. Are results consistent across ages or disciplines? Often, a study will have high causality and low external validity because in lab experiments, it's much easier to control everything. However, when designed properly, a study can have high causality and external validity. Lab settings, like ones run on mice, would rank low in external validity. We also want to examine the strength of the outcomes. Weak outcomes might look like self-reported learning or confidence, attendance or participation, or an immediate quiz right after treatment. While these may take place in a real classroom setting, they are not as effective at measuring learning as other stronger outcomes, like those in Category 4, which would look like a cumulative course exam, a delayed test weeks later after treatment, or projects and problem solving with a rubric. The papers with the strongest external validity will replicate their experiment across courses, instructors, and departments. Does their treatment work in math, science, writing, sociology? Does it apply to students just in high school or students of all ages and learning styles? Robustness and transparency deals with the availability and rigor of a source's statistical methods and analysis. According to the scientific method, results should be replicable and communicated so anyone who wanted to run the experiment themselves could do so. That means all statistical models, equations, formulas, and results should be included in the paper. The highest level of transparency would be to make the data publicly available, but that's impossible for some studies because of privacy or legal reasons. Still, a robust paper includes a fully specified model, discusses the assumptions of the statistical model and experimental framework, and checks for robustness within the data. That would be rank 5. The main difference between rank 5 and 6 is the available data and code for a fully reproducible experiment. Another good sign of a robust and transparent paper is that they recognize the shortcomings of their paper and discuss any assumptions. These could be assumptions about the subjects themselves, the testing environment, or the assumptions of the statistical model they use. Studies on the lower end of the scale might report general statistics, but give us no idea of how they got there, or they might not include a quantitative aspect at all. You'll see this a lot in anecdotal evidence. They don't provide any numbers because they don't have any numbers to share. So the 3 main criteria that we categorize papers by in a critical review: causality, external validity, and robustness and transparency. In the next video, we'll go over how to actually rank and categorize the papers.